Hi guys, my name is Hannu and I'm from Finland. Come and join me as I convert this 2006 Iveco Daily to an amazing campervan. There is always an adventure waiting for you, so let's go.
I am planning the bed frame support in here. Now that the aluminium angle is bolted to the frame, it's now pretty secure. Wall material gonna be attached here. It's gonna be fine for me, but in this area we don't have any support, so I need to make a little plywood strip in here so we can attach the wall material. In here it's quite fine because the plywood actually comes pretty nicely on this corner of the angle, so I think that's gonna be just fine for us. Maybe in this section need to do something, but yeah, I think I can figure it out later on. I just cut some one plywood strip in here. Now I just need to figure it out how I'm gonna attach this here and cut it, and then do the same thing on the other side as well. I had a little pause on the build again, since we had like minus 20 to minus 30 degrees Celsius in here, so, and the electricity prices had gone up to about the maximum I saw was 2.35 euros per kilowatt hour, so that's pretty high. I think now the prices got back to, let's say, a normal, and I can continue the work without getting bankrupt. And now it's about -1 outside. It's like a heavy snowstorm outside, so it's nice to work inside the van since we don't have to worry about the weather outside. So I'm gonna do some measurements about the wall panel. It's gonna be installed on top of these slats. It's gonna be a thin plywood. It's about 3.5 millimeters thick. It's 122 centimeters wide, and the width is 2.5 meters. Okay, this is 2.5 meters, so I think I'm going to need to cut the panel somewhere where is the support on the wall, so it's easier for me to continue the next one from there. Now, just before I install anything to the wall, I need to make sure that we have all the cables that we want and where we want. But the wall panel gonna leave now a little gap in here, so we have room to run some of the cables if needed. Okay, now we got the first wall panel into place, and now you can see the face of the walls. So it's gonna be, I don't know if this is like oak, white oak finish surface. Well, it's not really a oak, it's just a film. I think it looks great. It's like airy and light. So I think this would be fine for us. So I'm using 4.2 millimeter screws, and they are 13 millimeter long. And these are wronic screws, so they have the big end, and it's enough for us to secure the panel on the buttons. And on the edges, when I'm gonna continue with the new panel, I'm going to use H, like a little plastic trim that it's like H, so both of the, when they get together, so the edges doesn't really matter because the little plastic trim is gonna hide all those little mistakes and some rough edges as well. Now I have the measurements for this panel in here. Also I need to match the next panel with these screws, so it matches when it continues. I think this is gonna fit just fine. We're gonna have the upper cabinet and we're gonna have the USB and the light in here as well. Okay, I have my first mock up in here. Now that there is horizontal seam, these panels would go like this, and I don't want to put any plastic trim on here. I will put plastic trim between the vertical joint of the panels, but on the horizontal side I think I'm gonna do a little bit something different. I had in mind that maybe I should put some plywood under the panel, so when I install this it will be flush in here. And maybe I'm gonna use some glue in here as well, so it will be permanent installation after that. Of course you can take the whole wall panel out. I glued some thin 5mm plywood strips under this panel on the edge, as you can see here. I used polyurethane glue. I'm not gonna use the glue on these strips that are screwed onto the wall. If I need to take this panel off, it's easier to me to just remove the screws and take it out. Now the wall is glued and screwed down, and I think the seam looks pretty good. You cannot really see that anymore. So after the glue has kicked off, I think this is gonna be great for us. I cut this piece smaller because I end up having the smaller bits, so I think this will work just great in here, and I can continue the next panel from here. And because this area is in the garage and this will be covered also with all the electronics, so I think this is just fine for us. You might see that the lines don't match in here, but like I just said, it's going to be hiding, and this area is going to have the wall that separates the living area and the garage area. I think the piece fits pretty good in here, so I can screw this in and then design this area. Although I don't have now a good little piece for this area. After I fix this panel in, I need to double check that I have all the wires in here that I need, because now I can still open up these panels a little bit, open up the screws and put some more wiring. So I took the panel out to the workshop and then I cut it with circular saw, a nice groove for the aluminum frame. Now it's just only hanging out with 2 screws, so I need to add a few more so we don't drop this. Now it starts to hold pretty good, so it's easy for me to line up the screws in here. Need to just draw a little line with the pencil. I also did a little hole in here for the window, so it's easier for me to know where exactly it is. Earlier I thought that I had all the cables for the lights and for the USBs and stuff like that, but actually I didn't have. Now I just realized I need more cabling for my all the switches and stuff like that. Down here gonna be of course the unit for the main breakers, but I need like a little control center where I can see my water tank level, battery levels and stuff like that. So I think I'm gonna build it somewhere here up in the upper cabinet, like a little section in here. But yeah, I need to run a few wires. I have here, so there's 10 wires inside here. So I think I'm gonna run this 2 times up here. So we have 20 wires going up. So I think that might be enough. Or is it? Because 5 cables is going to the battery monitor only. So I think if I run this 3 times up, then we have 30 cables. I think that's gonna be enough. Because now it's easy to do, but afterward it's a little bit more hard. So this one we need right now. I got pretty good Black Friday deal. Oh, here it is. There's the little part we need, and we need to run the cable for the unit. So now I think we have enough cables. I totally forgot to run the cable for the fridge, and it's gonna be somewhere on the left side of the van. So we have 6mm cable for that, 2 times 6mm. Then we have the inverter control in here for the energy inverter. Then I run 30 cables. Then we have the USBs in here that gonna be on this side of the sleeping area, and then we have the light as well, so gonna be the LED strip for this side of the van. This is the plastic trim I'm going to use on this really edge in here. When you continue to of the panels, it's gonna be a little bit rough. I don't know, can you see? This is like a H. Okay, now the trim is here. I screw it back in. I think it looks pretty good. Now we can continue to work on the other side, since this is now pretty much finished. It's weird to say finished when you have worked over 3 years with this. So earlier you might have seen that there were some holes in the insulation in here, but now they are all patched up. ceiling is in, and I don't think it's too flexible either in here. It feels pretty sturdy. I think this would be just fine.